Hey guys, my video today has been sponsored by Blizzard. If it was an option, we would have all picked the Electric Deathball class, but since it's not, had to resort to choosing something else. In this case, I went Druid and turned this somewhat underdog man-bear-wolf class into a total powerhouse with beefy survivability too. I've been just chewing through the endgame with my Druid and having a great fuzzy time with it, but that's not entirely how my journey began. Did you see that guy down in the corner? He totally just pieced out of this video. When I first started Diablo IV, I honestly almost hard quit out on the Druid pretty early on because, well, let me know if any of you out there are prone to the class is always greener affliction in RPGs and MMOs. It's day one, I'm 100% sure I want to play the Druid. 5 hours later, I don't know, I think maybe the Rogue's gonna be more my style. 3 hours later, actually, I think I want to go full Sorcerer. 3 AM, you know what, I'm gonna go back to the class I picked in the first place. I'm glad I ended up giving the Druid a second chance and a little more time, because this initially slow burn class can eventually become one of the most well-rounded characters in the game, my opinion. But you do need to get a little more creative with the legendary modifiers and skill synergies to really make full use of this class. Example. Here the skill Landslide. Okay. And Trample. Alright. Now throw in a legendary with this effect, which makes Trample fire out a pile of landslides behind you spanning the entire distance you travel. This will also make Trample fall into the Earth skill category now, which will come into play later. Then take this modifier, which makes your Landslide ability spit out the effect twice. Decent, but this will also apply to Trample as well, causing a double dose of what is now essentially a big earthquake behind you. Trample falling into the Earth category now opens it up to be combined with the Nature's Fury passive skill. This gives a chance for Earth skills to automatically trigger bonus Storm skills within the same category, and vice versa. That is somewhat useful with the skills that normally fall into the Earth and Storm categories, but this effect comboed with our improved Trample lets you spit out multiple Storm spells along the entire destructive path of landslides behind you. Since you're casting Trample to initiate this, the Nature's Fury passive gives it a chance to also freely cast Hurricane, and the landslides that happen off of that each have a chance to do either Lightning Storm or a Tornado as well. That all synergizes into a one single click ability with a fairly quick cooldown that doesn't cost any resources to cast, which can fire off pretty much an entire other build's worth of skills and effects when you use it. Kinda like creating my own custom ultimate skill. Trample is currently my most powerful ability. There's more to this though, it goes deeper. The landslides that auto-trigger behind Trample also gain the bonus passive properties from the actual landslide skill. If you pick the Primal Landslide passive, you gain a charge every time you immobilize or stun an enemy, and these Terramote charges will be consumed to make each landslide guaranteed to critical strike. When you immobilize or stun, you'll see this icon building up charges, and those will be expended for each individual landslide cast off of you to make them all critical hits. The Poison, Creep, and Petrify abilities can very quickly build up dozens of those Terramote charges for you. Using one of those two abilities right before casting Trample is a really easy way to make this combo more effective at all the things dying. As an extra bonus for using the Nature's Fury passive, its chance to auto-trigger a Earth or Storm skill also applies to your ultimate ability category as well. So the Petrify I'm using in this also has a chance to pop the Cataclysm ultimate, which is like having two ultimate abilities in one, if you're lucky. A spectacle when this happens right before charging in with our Trample. Taking this setup into PvP definitely caught some people off guard, who were probably expecting a single Druid to be pretty easy pickings. What are they gonna do, a few bear swipes or so? Oh, we're both dead. I could continue on just talking about my awkward love affair with just the Trample ability, but here are a few other ways I built out my Druid throughout the campaign. Using a pure melee range wolf to bear hybrid got me through a good chunk of the game as well. Some passive skills give you bonuses for regularly transforming from wolf mode to bear mode and back, and that was my preferred way to play it. There are some rare pieces of gear out there like this though, which will let you perpetually remain in bear or wolf form instead of reverting back into a human. There's ways you could create an entire build purely around that concept, it's not just a cosmetic thing. You can also build out a more companion-focused druid with a few key legendaries and passives. This bonus improves the damage of your companions, but also lets you have an additional one of each, most noticeable with the wolves. Some legendaries out there will also allow for your buff effects to apply to nearby allies too. Your companions count so they can receive those buff bonuses along with you. The very last thing I just found before finishing this edit is this effect, which turns your wolves into full-on werewolves instead. That also makes them deal more damage and apply rabies to everyone. Now I can finally live my dream of playing Diablo as a full pack of smelly doggos. So have I convinced you yet? Druid is pretty legit. Now to my already Druid-loving brethren out there, let me know how you've built out yours. Or if you picked a different class, tell me how yours is the actual best choice. If everyone's preferred character class feels like that to them, they nailed it. Before I close this out though, a big thanks to Blizzard for sponsoring this video I came up with. And if you haven't grabbed Diablo IV just yet, I put a link to it down in the video description. As always, I'm Alex, and I'll see you soon in the next one.